everyone. Here we are in the first week of November. As always, we have a lot to talk about here in the city of Flint. But I want to thank everyone who came out and was a part of our very safe Halloween weekend. The kids enjoyed trick-or-treating. Mother Nature cooperated, and we did have, as we do every night, some public safety incidents. We did have a few fires, but given what we've experienced over this last year, I'm pretty satisfied with what we were able to accomplish together with the expanded patrols, the cooperation with the state police helicopter that I'm sure you heard up in the skies over the city on Saturday night. We were able to prevent a lot of incidents, I'm sure, with all the work that we did together, and so many of you were a part of that, so I want to say thank you for it. This week, I'm turning my attention to this challenge that we have with our budget and our finances. We're right in the middle of the comment period that I called for when I outlined our 5-point balanced budget plan. I need to hear from you, and I hope we can talk today about some of the details of the plan, some things I've heard from citizens, and that you'll take the time by email at mayor@cityofflint.com or by phone into my office at 766-7346, on Facebook, on Twitter, however is easiest for you. I want to hear what you think about this 5-point balanced budget plan where we'll adjust services, proposing we roll back employee compensation, we resize our personnel to fit our revenues, we consider increasing and generating new revenues, and then long-term we do the fiscal stabilization bond to address the city's old debts. That's a comprehensive and fair solution, but there's a lot of details to be filled out. We're doing a lot of analysis within our departments now, running the numbers for various services, looking closely at personnel and overtime and projections, and I want to hear from you as part of this input period. That goes all the way through Friday, November 19th. So I hope that between now and then you'll make your voice heard. These are your dollars. This is your city hall, and this needs to be a balanced budget plan that all of us, or almost all of us, will support as we move forward. We need a strong foundation underneath us. We can't continue year after year to deal with these old debts and these old financial issues, and I'm committed to rebuilding that foundation, but there's always some room for adjustments in the details, and that's what I want to hear from you on. Let's take a couple examples. Many millions of dollars can be saved if our employees that are represented by 6 different unions, these include our city workers, our supervisors, our managers, we have a union for our patrol officers, for our firefighters, including 911. I've asked all of those collective bargaining units, all of their contracts are now open. They've all passed the date of their last contract to take a double-digit concession, to agree to roll back their compensation. Now, while I've done that, we've also pursued through the state-required labor negotiating process the steps that need to be taken for this to be arbitrated under 312 Public Act for our public safety workers or under the appropriate process for our other city workers. So we're moving forward with the formal legal process, and I know that an arbiter who looks at the city of Flint's condition, who looks at what's happening in other cities. Bay City firefighters took an 11% voluntary cost reduction in their contract, that we will have contract concessions here too. I'd like to see them agreed to now, where we can set the terms together between our unions and our administration, and not have an outside entity tell us that we have to do what we know we need to do already, and that is that we need to see some savings. So you may be asking yourself, what happens if we don't get this voluntary cost concession? And the fact is, as a last resort, that we will begin after Friday, November 19th, working through the process of having to lay off. And that's done by seniority. It's not done by performance. It's not done by position. It's done by seniority under our contracts, and I can't control that. Individuals will no longer be able to come in to City Hall and do the work that they've been doing. Now, what does that mean for you? That means that there could be fewer police officers, there could be fewer firefighters, There could be fewer workers in sanitation at the front customer service center desk. There's also could be fewer people in the behind the scenes departments where it's more challenging for us to meet our payroll on time and to pay those employees who actually are working, to process the income tax return so that we have the money available to spend. This whole system is connected, and everybody's job here at City Hall is important, and that's why I've asked for there to be shared sacrifice. I'm asking for all 6 of our unions to roll back their compensation. I'll be sending a resolution to City Council to adjust the health care contribution that I have to make and that other elected officials, our appointed and exempt employees have to make, because we're all in this together. So one of the things I want to hear from you about, a question that's on my mind this week, as we push to get tentative agreements in place with our unions before Friday, November 19th. And I hope you understand that I just can't talk about the details of those negotiations because that's not appropriate to do in a public forum. You can know the targets, some about the process, but it's just not appropriate to talk about the details. So I hope you understand that. But we are working hard, we are communicating, and I'm personally optimistic about what we can accomplish. But here's what it comes down to. This is the question I was getting to. Would you rather see a rollback in compensation for our employees, or would you rather have a reduced number of employees? That's the basic question. It's a simple math problem. We've got the same amount of money to spend either way. Those are the revenues that you send this city every year that we get from the state of Michigan, property taxes, income taxes. That amount of money is set. So do you support rolling back compensation so we can have more employees at work here, more firefighters, police officers total, or do you believe that these benefits need to be fully protected, that it may not be fair to ask for these kinds of concessions, and that we should simply reduce the number of people who are able to come here to work? That's the basic question, and I want to hear from you on that point. Would you rather see a rollback in public employee compensation, or would you rather see a reduced number of positions? That's one thing I want to hear from you about. The other is knowing that we can only do so much with however much money we have. Are you willing to support a tax increase? I can't increase taxes. The City Council can't increase taxes by ourselves. Any of these new revenues are going to come before you as a public, and you'll be able to vote. Do you want to support a public safety millage? Do you support an income tax increase? Those are things that only move forward if you, as voters, approve them all across this city. So that's something that I want to hear from you about too, because I'm working on the resolutions to send up to City Council for them to consider putting on the ballot. So first there has to be the resolution, then City Council takes a vote, got to have a majority of votes there, and then it would go on the ballot for you to vote and have your voice officially heard in this process. But I'm asking for your input up front. I want a comprehensive solution that we can all support so that we have this foundation underneath us to move forward. Those are the big questions. Now, let me give you an example about a smaller service area. Our leaf pickup. It's something that's happening all over the city now. And we're doing it different this year to limit our overtime, to save some money. But what that means is that I need your help to get those streets and yards clean so that our sewers and our streets have the kind of cleanliness and maintenance that they need to serve us year after year. So this year, the leaf collection program is scheduled to be approximately 5 weeks. It's scheduled to run on weekdays only, so we limit that overtime. People have said, well, there's still some leaves up on the tree. Well, that's true, because when you run a 5-week program and you've got some leaves still on the trees, but you have to get it done before everything freezes up in December, it means that there's some leaves that our program won't collect. And this is where you come in, and this is where I come in, because I cut my own grass and rake my own leaves too. After the trucks come through, after the street sweepers come through, any leaves or debris that are left, I hope you'd get out rake those, get them into the regular bags or bins that you use for the compost, and put that out on your regularly scheduled day, any day through November 27th. So we're picking up compost all the way through November 27th, so you can get your area cleaned up, and I just ask for your help in that. It's one small adjustment to service that limits overtime and saves us money, and we're going to be announcing more of those changes in other areas as we finalize the implementation of our budget plan with your input. Look forward to talking to you again.